Hey everybody, Alienist Gaming here with another interview from our local community. Today we've got Planarwalk. How you doing today?
Ahoy hoy, I'm doing well today. Yourself?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. I appreciate you agreeing to come do an interview, so hopefully people can get to know you a little bit better, so they can see the person behind the creation type of thing. That's the whole point of these interviews. So I just have some basic questions, and then we'll kind of go over some of your content, and then that's about it. So
Okay.
if there's anything that you don't want to answer, of course, then just we'll move on or make something up. but
Or I could say I'm not authorized to answer that question.
yes, I think Mr. Sensible told me he would have to kill me about something, so he had to. No. All right, so I guess if you're ready, we'll get started.
Yep.
Okay. First and foremost, how did you come up with the name Planner Walk as your YouTube name?
Okay, so this was from years ago, and when I was going onto RuneScape for the first time, so it was the first username that I was creating, and uh, there was this Magic the Gathering card that on it had this thing saying these brazen planner walkers. I think it was Vastwood Gorger, maybe. Anyway, what happened is I thought, I'll name myself Planner Walker. RuneScape didn't allow me to name myself that, so I was like, okay, Planner Walk. No, it didn't allow that. Planner Walk 2. It allowed that. And so I decided to use that. And then I realized that no one uses the name Planner Walk, right? So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna use that for everything. I actually used Planner Walk 2 for my YouTube name before I decided to just simplify it to Planner Walk rather than having the number on the end,
Mm.
because I actually don't know why I had the 2 in there. Yeah, but I did that, and I think it was around about 2015-ish. 2014, 2015 that I decided to just drop the 2 from wherever I create a new account. So, yeah.
All right, fair enough. Let's see here. Where are you from?
I am from New Zealand. So I believe NASA has corrected my camera so that I'm not upside down for you.
Yes, yes. They had to send me a bill for that. You know, I was like, shit. No. Let's
Told
see.
me not to charge you.
Ah, you know, NASA. Anyway, let's see. Do you have any pets?
No. Although I do have a video from ages ago called Meow, right? And no, not Meow. That was on the thumbnail. No, Conversation with a Kitten. I get things mixed up.
No worries.
Anyway, the conversation that I had was with a kitten that had decided to make itself at home in my house. I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard this like thing outside, and so I go to the hallway, and there's this kitten that's trying to nibble on a. I'd put a chicken bone into the rubbish bin there, and a kitten had come up and pulled the chicken bone out of the rubbish and was trying to nibble on it. And it saw me, it scurried down the stairs, and I didn't. I thought it had gone outside because I think the door was open or something. But anyway, I didn't see it until the next day, which I'd decided to come back.
Mm.
And I realized that it hadn't gone out the door, and instead it was hiding in this little area that had a triangle, sort of under the stairs, where it was really difficult to get to, but it was small enough to get in there. So what I had to do is, when it had come out, I had to block that part off. It wasn't too happy with me blocking it off. I eventually trapped it in the kitchen, and I was like, I'm going to take a video of this real quick. And so I had a conversation with it. There's subtitles for those that don't understand cat. And afterwards, I took it. I managed to. It didn't like being handled. I took it to the bathroom, and I think I had to wait till the next day to call the RSPCA,
Yeah.
and um, essentially they couldn't take it, so I had to sort of say get out of my house because I'm not allowed pets here. But I did give it some food, and I think it appreciated that.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I did have. I do remember when I sent it outside, I went to the toilet, and the toilet sort of looks over into the sort of back section,
Okay.
and I saw it coming back, and I'm like, "Yeah, I see you." It looks up at me, makes eye contact, and then runs away.
He just wanted to be your friend. That's awesome. So, I hope he's doing well out there. How long ago was that?
Yeah, that was a few years ago, at least 2017, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, sometime around then.
All right. Yeah, I got a bunch of cats, and I'm a crazy cat guy because I'm not allowed dogs here. I grew up with dogs, German shepherds, and a really cool dog called a Hovawart, which was a older generations like guard dog of castles in like Germany and stuff like that. So very very cool dog, big dog. He was like 160 pounds. It was crazy, but yeah, I like pets.
I'm not a big fan of dogs. I've just never liked the fact that they bark at you. It's just something that I've never liked, especially when they're bigger dogs, and you know that if they wanted to, they could take a chunk out of you if they
Oh,
really
sure.
wanted to. I've been a little bit scared of them, but I've managed to sort of overcome that more recently, so which is good.
Cool. Let's see. Do you have a car? Do you drive?
I have a car. I don't drive. I have my learner's license, but I don't have my restricted license. And my learner's license probably needs to get renewed in a couple of years, to be honest. Or I need to get my restricted, and that will go for 5 to 10 years. I don't know how long restricteds last for.
No. Yeah, I'm not sure. We just have permanent licenses here, but we have to get them renewed every 2 years in my state. I'm up by Chicago, so obviously different laws, different things.
What was that? You cut out for a second.
I was saying that I'm from Chicago, so we have permanent licenses, and we just have to get them renewed every 2
Oh, okay.
years. So I'm not sure what a restrictive license is. So that just might be something not in America.
Okay, so the way that licenses work here in New Zealand is you've got your learner's license, and I've had mine for about 7 years now. And I got it before they took it down to 5 years, so that's why I've had it for 7 years. For anyone that's watching, and I just haven't really. Yeah, anyone that's watching in New Zealand going, wait, you can't get restricted licenses for learner's licenses for 5 years. Yeah, well, I got mine 7 years ago before they changed the thing. Anyway, that one you have to have a driver, person that's had their full license for 2 or more years in the passenger seat to be able to drive on a restricted license, unless you have a moped, which is what I did drive around a lot in when I was going to course.
Okay.
And so, yeah, then you've got your restricted license, and and you're also not allowed to drive between the hours of 10 p.m. and I can't remember the hours in the morning. I think it's like 7 a.m. And then on your restricted license, you're not allowed to have passengers except for dependents. And I think there are a few other things around that. But you're also not allowed to drive between certain hours on your restricted. And then for your full license, yeah, you can basically do whatever.
Fair enough. Yeah, the learner's permits that we have here are basically while students are taking driving lessons or whatever, and then they can go take their test and get their full license. You can't drive you can't drive the big semi trucks or anything like that, but they're unrestricted at that point. Up to a certain age, I think they can't have more than one passenger or something like that. There's a lot of things that are rules now that weren't rules when I was growing up, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. The next question is, well, shit. What kind of card did you or do you have though?
It was a forgotten the I've forgotten the make and model. A Kia Optima.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, I think it
Excellent.
was from 2002. And it doesn't have many Ks on it, so which is good. So it should last a fairly long time. Here's hoping at least.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So you have a lot of different things that you do for YouTube. Okay. So you've got anything from flat Earth to some of the conspiracy stuff going on. Do you have any like educational background as far as being able to, you know, debate and stuff like that, or call people out on their bullshit?
So one of the videos that I have seen a while back, I promise this will answer the question, was a video by Barnabas Nagy that Creaky he covered, and this was to do with the Ethernet, and that is where like I love seeing those things because I am actually qualified to talk about computer-related stuff because I have a bachelor in IT. I also like being able to use my graduate diploma in audio production. Those are the two things that I'm qualified for. I can't remember the other thing that I can't remember much of the high school stuff that I've got. I know that I've got like NCA level 3 in numeracy, and I know that I did a class in I can't remember what it was called, something to do with sustainability. So, I it was basically a social studies class, I think. But
Okay.
yeah, it was an interesting class. And I also know a lot of people, so a lot of the knowledge that I am using, I've just absorbed from people around me, and I'm probably doing better at what I do nowadays than I did back when I started, just because I've learned things about forces and about all that kind of. Like, I'm currently researching refraction for a particular question that I heard. What's his name? What's the guy that debated Ranty recently on Agree to Disagree?
I don't know.
Whitsitt.
Whitsitt? Oh, that
Austin
guy.
Whitsitt. Yeah. To basically answer his question, I'm looking into refraction, and hopefully that will make his idea of refraction to explain the white swan laughable.
Fair enough. All right. Let's see here. You got some stuff on your keyboard there. You got a tinfoil hat. You got a. I would see that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you ever wear it?
Yes, I do. So the reason why I made this was for a video on a conspiracy theory, Agenda 21 actually, and so I decided to put the tinfoil hat on, and half the video had the tinfoil hat on, and the other half didn't. But yeah, there is a bit of a story, or kind of a story, between everything on here.
Okay.
So, right here you've got this chocobo,
Excellent.
which I bought off a friend, and I'm into Final Fantasy as well.
Excellent.
And it's got a few things hanging on it. It's got a Heartless hanging on it, which I just got from pre-ordering Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's
Black
got
Mage.
a Black Mage,
Hell yeah.
yeah, on it, which I got from supporting way back when Dean Weiss actually made content on YouTube. I supported him on Patreon. This is when I was doing my course and got free money from from that. I decided, you know what, I'll give a bit of money towards Dean. So yeah, that's where the Black Mage comes from. This here is belonged to my father, and I decided that would work well in just to sit here or something.
Yeah.
Because the whole NASA thing. This, you can't really see it.
Yeah, it had some
but
hidden things.
this-
No.
yeah, this is I got this in Australia.
Okay.
So yeah, that's something I've got from there. Don't really have much from Australia. I don't really bring much back. This is for reaching 1,000 subscribers. This is a sheep, which I was going to use for a video, but the person who made the video that I was going to respond to deleted their video before I had a chance to download it. So they were responding to me, and I was going to say something about the sheep comment. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I played Final Fantasy for 12 or 13 years actually. Final Fantasy 11 online. So that was the only Final Fantasy game I played up until when I got a PS4. I did get 15. So those are cool.
Okay. Yeah, I like the Final Fantasy games. In fact, speaking of 11, give me a few seconds. I've never played 11.
Really? Okay.
However, I do have the guidebook to 11.
Nice.
So, yeah, so if I ever do get round to playing 11, like maybe if they, I don't know what they might do to make me able to, be able to play it, because isn't it subscription based?
It is.
Still?
That's unfortunate, and that's why I stopped playing it. Unfortunately, I had to run into some issues, and then I just cut some of the stuff that it was easy to cut off. So here's what it is. But yeah, I've got I dual box, which means that I run 2 characters at the same time. They're all level 99 with upgraded gear. I mean, it's a lot of fun. But I haven't played in probably about a year now. But cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't played many MMOs. There was one MMO that I played that I've mentioned, RuneScape, but that's about it, I think. Because it was free. That's why I played it.
Fair enough. All right. And you are in development on your own game, is that correct?
That is correct.
Can you tell us anything about it yet, or no?
Yeah, I can tell you. I've been working on different things. I'm finally getting around to the town, because that's one thing that once I've worked out all the mechanics there, it should be like the only thing that will slow me down will be artwork, really, and that is like if anyone does want to help out, I would be very much appreciated, because it's something that it is annoying when it slows down to pretty much a crawl, because I've got to wait for artwork to be done and stuff. But yeah, it's one of them things which I really enjoy working on it. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, I need to make a video, but I want to finish working on this part of the game. And that's why content hasn't been coming out, because I've been working on different sprites and all that kind of stuff. Working on music as well. Music is really fun to work on.
Cool. Do you play any other instruments aside from the keyboard or piano?
I play guitar mostly. In fact, this is generally used not to be able to play it, because I'm not that good at playing it, but it's generally used so that I can work out, okay, I'll just go something like, oh wait, the volume is all the way down. I'll just play a few chords and then work out a tune from that. And that's generally how I work on tunes. I'd come up with a few notes and think, oh, this sounds nice, or oh, this sounds spooky.
That's cool. Yeah, I played drums in a heavy metal band for about 15 years. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, we won't go into that. Anyway, let's see. So you could play guitar, you could play the piano. When did you start playing guitar or playing any sort of music?
So it's all started way back in primary school, where essentially I got one of those guitars that you get from the $2 shop that have nylon strings and aren't really actually good for playing.
Sure.
for playing guitar. And I had a few friends of mine that were learning guitar at the time, and they told me a few things like Seven Nation Army, Smoke on the Water, those the standard kind of stuff. Then I got a guitar in, I think it was before I went to intermediate school. I got a guitar. It was one of the 1/4 or 3/4 size guitars.
Okay.
you know. And that one I played for a bit, but then I realized that I didn't know what I was doing. Like when it said chords, I was like, I didn't really understand chords all that well. I thought it was all supposed to be notes
Hmm.
and not playing all the notes at the same time. So I gave that up for a while, and instead I focused on recorder, which there is actually a tune in my game that I played the recorder. I picked the recorder back up. It's a terrible tune, and it's terrible on purpose.
Fair enough.
Uh,
Okay.
so I picked up recorder for a bit. Didn't actually know how I was supposed to play it.
Hmm.
It sounded close enough to whatever I was uh, trying to do, so I was like, oh, okay, close enough. Then after that, I played a bit of piano for a while. Never really got any good at it. And then I think I dropped music for a while, and then eventually in high school, I was doing this performance, and the performance didn't really require me to know how to play tribute, but I decided to at least learn it somewhat for this performance.
Okay.
And obviously, it completely sucked when I played tribute. And that was the point. Like, you can go watch this performance on YouTube. It's very first video on my channel,
Okay.
and it was basically a rock off kind of thing. And after that, I decided, you know what, I'm going to focus a bit more on guitar, trying to actually get good at guitar. And eventually, I got better because I actually learned how to play chords.
Mhm.
And nowadays, I can play it a lot better. In fact, I'd find it hard to play as bad as I did in that video. It's difficult to play that badly.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. I taught myself how to read tablature, but I can't read chords or notes or anything like that. I mean, I know what chords are, and if you like to play a G chord, sure, okay. But I don't know notes on guitar, so that way beyond me.
Well, that's how I. Well, I can't read sheet music. I just read the tab.
Oh, well then, cool.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you listen to, and what kind of music do you like to play?
So I listen to a lot of rock, metal, uh, bit of the old stuff. Like one of my favorite older songs is "Hooked on a Feeling."
Okay.
You know, the one that starts with the "ooga chaka ooga ooga."
Mhm.
Love that song. Uh, I can't play that, but recently I learned "Learning to Fly" by Tom Petty.
Okay.
I mean, I had already learnt it before, but I just didn't remember all the chords because it's just a simple four-chord song.
Hmm.
But yeah, I know a lot of Foo Fighters songs compared to songs from other bands that I might know. I know a bit of System of a Down, yeah. And I've also got, like, sometimes you might see in my videos that I have a album there. That's most of those albums I've gotten ages ago.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
so yeah.
Very, very cool. Let's see. So we've talked about music now. We've talked about pets. We've talked about a car. What are some jobs that you've had while you were growing up?
So a long time ago, uh, this is before I this is before I should have legally been able to work. And so I think this is when I was 14 or 15. I had a job in a factory, and this was for Deep South Ice Cream because my mum worked there, and I was working basically a minimum wage job there, and they didn't actually realize that they could pay me less than minimum wage, so I was getting minimum wage, so that worked out well for me. Although the job absolutely sucked. It's one of those jobs which, to start off with, it was. Well, the first day was actually probably the worst because it was so slow. I was basically taking these cups and sliding them by this thing, which what it would do is it would print out the best before date on it,
Hmm.
and then I'd put over there. Sometimes there'd be an issue where I wouldn't swipe it fast enough, or I swiped it too slow. So it was like, okay, that's can't use that cup. Anyway, what happened is the second day we had this conveyor belt, which sped things up a lot. And so I was also working with someone else who the other person would put the cups on the conveyor belt, and I'd take them off, or sometimes would swap. But in that time, we're actually inside the factory itself. So at least I think we're inside the factory itself. I can't remember because I worked there twice.
Okay.
I didn't learn my lesson the first time that I shouldn't go back there. Anyway, when I was in the factory, there was always the smell of ice cream, right? And it was one of the things which I can still vaguely remember the smell of ice cream, and it kind of puts you off chocolate ice cream when you can just constantly smell it before it's
Okay.
and yeah, it was just one of them things which I was waking up at like 6 a.m. I think. Was it 6 or 5 a.m.? I can't remember. But yeah, and then I'd absolutely crash at the end of the day because it was, I was waking up so early. The work was so boring, really, and that and my mum said that's why you need to stay in school, because otherwise you'll have a job like that.
All right. So you decided to stay in school, I hope?
Well, I didn't ever have any intention of leaving school early, but it was extra motivation.
There you go. Oh man, the factory jobs, like especially there. I mean, isn't it pretty darn warm down there?
Um, it was, well, actually, one of the days that I was working. I think it was the day before, or well, no, it was the weekend of, I think. Anyway, what happened is there was a huge snow, and unfortunately, unlike unlike some other days where we've had snows, I wasn't able to enjoy it because I was busy working.
Fair enough. All right. But hey, you had a job. It got you some knowledge as far as how how to become self-sufficient in work. You know what I mean? You're not like a normal kid nowadays where they're like, I don't want to work. Everything's mine. It should be mine. Blah blah blah. Entitled. Oh God, I hate that. But
Fair enough.
Excellent. All right. Let's see. Did you have anything after the factory or no?
Oh yeah, I did have another one, which was also pretty bad, because this was actually less than minimum
Oh,
wage.
jeez.
And this was it was based and didn't go through. Yeah, it was under the table as well, so that's how they could get away with that. Essentially, it was peeling potatoes for a fish and chip shop, right?
Okay.
So essentially, I'd have to peel the potatoes and then put them. Well, no, I'd have to put them in this thing that peeled them for me, but because I was working with rather old potatoes, the skin didn't come off as easily, so I'd often get them out and have to peel them with a peeler, then put them in the chipper, and then it would turn them into chips. And then after all that was said and done, I had to clean up. All right, and I was only paid $2 for each bag of spuds that I peeled.
Oh.
Now, if they had been new spuds, then I would have been completely fine. But essentially, they were old spuds. I was there for like 5 hours and getting through 10 bags of spuds. Yeah, because I had only just started.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think I was a bit too slow on that job. Although it didn't help that I didn't have any new spuds to build me up to speed. So
Yeah, that
yeah,
would
that didn't go too well.
slow you down quite a bit, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start talking about some of your content. Now I know that
Okay.
you're big into the flat Earth idiots, and you like to make videos about them. So how long does it
Yeah.
take? How long does it take you to create a YouTube video?
Um, it actually depends on the video. So generally, to to get 5 minutes of content, it's roughly an hour.
Okay.
I've worked this out. So for each 5 minutes of content, it's roughly an hour. Now, there's there's also the fact that I've got to create a thumbnail, and the thumbnail takes about half an hour. In fact, I'm not a big fan of creating thumbnails, so I should probably actually remedy that sometime soon by just taking the time to take a whole lot of stills. I think Simon Dan might have a whole lot of stills of him, and then just you cycle between them for thumbnails. Use whichever one works best. But then there's also the finding images to use in the thumbnail, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, there is that. It also depends on how much research I'm doing.
Mhm.
So for some videos, I might do a fair amount of research. Like there's one video that's I still haven't released yet, which is the video is probably going to be half an hour long when all's said and done. Anyway, that video it's debunking Eric Dubé, and one of the things that I decided to do was research a particular point that he made, and I found that Eric Dubé is a liar, or either that or he doesn't know how to count, and I'm not convinced. I think that both of those may be true. He may be a liar, and he may not be able to count.
Okay.
So,
All right.
so
Good.
I was just going to say, so sometimes that takes a bit longer when I'm actually doing my proper due diligence and actually researching the specifics of a claim. And that can take a fairly long amount of time. Sometimes it may be simple as just Googling a number or Googling something, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's something that is easily Googleable. But sometimes it might be having to go through a few things, taking a look at different videos that have already been made and going, all right, I'm just going to plagiarize your stuff.
Oh gosh, that's cool. What's your favorite type of videos to make? Is that type of video like your more favorite content to create, or what?
Really depends. Like, there are some videos that I really like creating, or there are videos that I like finishing, right? Because videos that are more on the sillier side of stuff, I really like finishing, but making them can actually be a bit of a pain because sometimes I actually have to take a bit longer for just the whole creation process, because it's like, okay, what am I going to do next? I don't script my videos. So when I go into the videos, I actually it's all on the fly, just coming out with whatever comes to mind, rather than scripting them out. But when I get to the end of them, it's like I'll watch it back and I'll be like, I like this video. One of the really good examples is I really liked creating the exposing conspiracy cats and the creaky blinder. That one, once I had gotten to the end, I was like, that finally I'm done. That was a really good video. But during it was like, okay, what am I going to do to keep up the jokes?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Do you ever do any like collaborations with people, as far as like I know that you are on FTFE a lot with the game show. How's that going, by the way?
Well, I was hoping to. Last week I was hoping to make it so that the series ends at worst for me in a draw. But then he decided, okay, we're not going to have the series end in a draw. And I was like, you couldn't have announce it right at the end of the towards the last one if we're tied, rather than because I get the feeling that if I win tomorrow, then what's going to happen is he's going to be like, okay, well, if the series, if you each get the same amount of wins, the series is going to end in a draw anyway. So up the points of the last round. So it's all going to be banked on the last round, I think, unless I keep on winning like every round up until then. So that's the plan.
Yeah, sorry I failed you the other week when I was on there with you. That was fun though.
That's all right. I think FTFE is trying to make it come down to last round. I think that's his goal.
Probably. So yeah, that's awesome. That's a lot of fun. Let's see. Do you have a favorite YouTuber?
I have some favorite YouTubers. One of my favorites is a YouTuber, Australian guy that goes by the name Friendly Geordies. I highly recommend that people go check out his content. I do disagree with him on some. I disagree with his takes on nuclear power, but apart from that, he's done some really good work in exposing corruption in New South Wales, in particular. There's also, content creators that I've mentioned before, like Vosh, Destiny. There's also Xanderhall, and another favorite content creator of mine is Eric Rosen. He's a chess player, and I'm actually thinking of at some point in the future buying some of his merch that says "Oh no, my queen," because it's such a great meme.
Awesome. All right.
So yeah.
How did you find yourself coming into this community or this type of content creation? Like, what led you to do what you do?
So, it all started when I saw a person in my IT class. He was watching a flat Earth video from a YouTuber that I don't think they have created videos in a long time, called Globe Skeptic.
Okay.
Right? And I was thinking, okay, this has to be a joke. And he was like, no, it's not a joke. Like, look into it. And then I look into it, and I'm like, oh, dear God, these people actually exist.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I came up with a few explanations of why he was wrong. Right? But then he always just kept on saying, oh, this perspective, that's why the sun sets, the standard ones. But the really killer one, at least for the model, the azimuthal equidistant model, right, that they use, the killer for that was the fact that in the summer, the sun rises in the southeast, right? Travels north, and then then sets in the southwest.
Oh, okay.
If the sun is rising, if the sun is circling the North Pole, how is that possible? Now, to be fair, FECU did explain that with a giant magical space mirror. But
yeah, some of the arguments are all the same, like lately, and it's just been dying. So I mean, I'm kind of happy for that because people should not be that dumb. But people are people. When Flat Earth finally dies, what are you gonna focus your content on?
So there are other conspiracy theories that I can look into. Like, there's also, I've recently started a series called Bad Ads. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the second video, although I do have a thing in my Discord server which has a few ideas in there, so that'll be interesting to look at. Essentially, it's these advertisements. I particularly want to focus on video advertisements that you get before videos, and essentially go through those advertisements and say why they're misleading. So for the Smart Dot one, it was misleading in so many different ways, and so essentially went through each of the claims and said, this is wrong because this is wrong because this. And one thing that I didn't specify, but I implied, was that there is harmful radiation, and that is UV radiation. The reason why I say I implied that was because I said, we've got stuff that can protect you from harmful radiation. It's called sunscreen, right? But people must have missed that comment because I didn't outright say, oh, yeah, UV radiation is harmful. And so, sometimes I don't say stuff as much as I should. Where was I going with that?
That's pretty funny, though. The sunblock and UV. So, oh well.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna focus on those sorts of things because there are so many ads that do peddle misinformation because they want to create profit. Maybe I should focus on Gaia or something as well. Oh, I actually had an idea recently. I came across this Facebook page. I can't remember what the Facebook page was called, but it was they seemed to be a religious fundamentalist. And they said, is it okay for girls to wear bikinis at the beach? And I was thinking, I could make a video on this, but then I realized that's basically just, all I have to do is, there's a particular YouTube channel called Girl Defined that basically makes those arguments. The exact same arguments.
Yeah, well, that'll happen. Pretty much if you had to make your own video on girls wearing bikinis, it might get a little creepy. Going and filming them. Oh, how you doing? No. That's terrible. All right. Okay, so you also with the video game that you're making. That could also be something you focus on afterwards too, I'm assuming? If it goes well?
Yeah, if it goes really well, like, I don't think I'll ever stop making YouTube videos, like, unless something happens that, like, imagine if I got completely cancelled off of the internet or something, then I'd probably stop creating YouTube videos then. But I think that'll be one of them things which if I do get the opportunity to work more heavily on my game, I will take that, but I'll still make the odd video every now and again because making videos can definitely be really fun.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun doing these YouTube interviews lately. Getting back into it, I went through some other bullshit, but it is what it is. So, like, I don't know. I've got a lot of people that I want to do, and then people that haven't gotten back to me yet, and all this other stuff. But it's kind of fun, I mean, just getting to know people and just kind of chatting. It's good times. Do you have anything else coming up in YouTube that we should be looking forward to? Like any specials or special collabs or anything like that?
Yeah, so I've got a few things that I have in the works. So one of the things that I'm going to be working on is it's a sort of tutorial series, right? It's completely serious, but I'm going to throw in a few jokes every now and again. Like I've already recorded part of a video which says that if you want to learn HTML, you go to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, right? Because HTML is some wizardry, so
yeah, I tried. No, I am not a wizard. All right, so that should be fun.
There's also a video about that I'll be exposing Seek Truth, Speak Truth, because he needs to be exposed for who he really is. And so that'll be a fun one. And then there's also one that's also in the works, based on basically responding to Eric Dubé's documentary.
Yes. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to kind of touch base on or talk about?
We can always talk about my accent, and I won't say Dak. Oh fuck.
I was trying to leave that out. I do have another question though. What is the ahoy hoy thing? What is that all about?
Okay. Okay, so when it comes to that, how that became my sort of thing that I do, essentially, I remember seeing this video where they said how a hui hui was initially meant to be the greeting on the telephone, right? And so I was like, okay. So the next time I answered the not telephone, it was a cell phone.
Same
I
difference.
answered the phone and I said ahoy hoy. Now my family was in the room when I said that, and they laughed, and I was like, what if I just start my videos with ahoy hoy? And
Okay.
so that's where that came from.
Okay. Very cool. Like, everybody has their own little catchphrases, and that's it's just part of them now, which is cool. So, unfortunately,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of all the crap that Irish went through, Irish Demon, with his
Oh yeah.
catchphrase. Oh my goodness. Anyway, but yeah, that's another story. But yeah, otherwise, I'll have all your information in the description below, so people can go check you out. I'm sure, hopefully, there's gonna be people from your side that come watch this thing because maybe they don't know who you are. That maybe they want to know just a little bit more about you. So I think this was actually kind of fun.
One of the things that would be interesting though is to go back, and there's an interview that I've done which was very similar to this on Soundly's channel, and I think it would be very interesting to go back and sort of look at the how that interview went and compare it to this interview to see, because obviously there will be the same questions that I think were asked back then to do with how I got the name Planarwalk. I think he might have asked that question. I can't remember. Anyway, but it'll be very interesting to see how I've changed since then compared to now, because people change.
Absolutely. Hopefully I eventually get better at this. I still kind of suck because I'm trying to go unscripted now. So yeah, there's some pauses here and there. Of course, I got to think of something to say. I'm just like, but whatever.
Yeah, I've got to work on my stuff too as well.
Yeah, but it is what it is, man. It's as long as we're having fun, that's all that really matters. You know what I mean? And creating
True.
this stuff for the people out there, so they got something to do, and it's been awesome. It's been pretty well received as far as the interviews go, and just watching everybody's content out there has been it's just awesome. I've learned so much from this community. It's crazy. So it's
Yeah, so have I.
yeah.
Like I wouldn't be as big brained as I am today if it weren't for people like even people that aren't really sort of too woven into the community, like Professor Stick. Like, I've learned a lot from Professor Stick's videos. I've learned a lot from AB Science's videos, even though most of it goes over my head. I've learned a lot from Conspiracy Cats' videos. No, Baldy Cats' videos.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool. Otherwise, I think we can probably just wrap this up, man. So that was awesome. But hopefully, anybody that's watching this, go visit his YouTube channel. Like and subscribe to this, of course. Go subscribe to him if you haven't already. Because you're currently at, how many subscribers are you at so far?
11,500.
Awesome. How long ago did you start doing YouTube creation?
So, I started. That is an interesting question, because I started way back in 2000 and something, 2012, I think. But I didn't create a whole lot of videos, and there's been some videos that I deleted because they're kind of just not good. And when you're what? How old was I back in 2012? I would have been about
4 or 5 years old, I'm
14?
assuming. No.
I know this would have been 2011. Yeah, 2011. So I would have been like 15 back then. And yeah, 15-year-olds aren't good at making content, to be honest.
Okay.
Some of them can be good, but like I looked at them and I was like, oh, that's really cringe.
Yep.
And so I decided, okay, that's getting deleted, that's getting deleted, that's getting deleted, that's getting deleted. I did re-upload some of the ones that I was like, okay, I'm gonna re-upload the movie that I made, and yeah, but it was only in 2015 that I started. Well, 2014 was when I decided, okay, let's start creating content for YouTube, or let's become a YouTuber. Then it was in 2015 that I decided, okay, well, because in 2014 I was like, I'm gonna start it with my friend Wade. Then in 2015 I decided, okay, Wade hasn't been agreeing to make any more content with me, so I'm just gonna do it myself.
All right.
And so that worked out well for me. So yeah.
Awesome. All right, cool. So yeah, that'll do it, man. I will have all your links in the description below. So anybody that wants to go check him out, just click on something down there and go to his videos and check that shit out because it's awesome. So in the meantime, thank you very much. I really do appreciate your time for doing this interview, man. So
No problem. It's fun doing it.
cool. Otherwise, everybody else have a wonderful day.